Welcome to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. New episodes each weekday morning, 9 a.m., thatbusinessnetwork.com via our video stream, and also on iTunes and on YouTube at the end of the week. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, leave a review, and helps the show grow. Send us a message that you left us a review, and we'll put you up on the show supporters tab of the website with a backlink to your website, a show card for you, and also a quick promotion on your business. A show appearance is not required. Just be sure to email us and tell us that you did, because I can't always tell who leaves the reviews on iTunes, as people put in unique names sometimes. So that's a way of us saying thank you to the listeners. Thank you to the viewers for helping support this program. We need all the help we can get on getting on iTunes. iTunes makes it very difficult to get found, and it positions shows that haven't even released episodes in 4 and 5 years above programs that are regularly producing content. Don't fully understand it, but I'll get into that more in another program. Today's program, I want to talk about email etiquette. I haven't touched on this before on the program, but email etiquette as a business professional is very, very important. And you're losing business that you may not even be aware that you're losing because of poor email quality, because of poor email practices. And so on this episode, I want to talk to you about how to secure more business through proper email etiquette. So you think about it, we're a very heavily reliant business or system or culture, I should say, on email. We're getting to the point today where people don't even answer their phones or even listen to voicemails. It's incredible how many people will tell me they don't even listen to voicemails on their phones, and they're in business. These are not just friends who don't give a care about life. I'm talking actual other people in business who say I don't listen to voicemails, but. And really, the person who call is a very good lead source. They've taken the time to pick up the phone. You should respond to your voicemails and respond to your phone much more than the typical person does. Regardless, a lot of people don't. They go to email. I myself am very heavily dependent upon email. I've been accustomed to that through the segment of real estate that I'm in, dealing with foreclosed properties. A lot of the clients will only communicate strictly through email, and it's nice. It's a system that easily documents, easily makes available searches for past messages, and when you forget something, you just search your email. But let's talk about email as it relates to growing your business, as it relates to what people perceive of you. When you make connections with people, a lot of times email is your first impression. First impressions, you got one chance to make them, and if you do not do a good job, the person may not respond to you. So let's look at it from the perspective of a real estate agent. Somebody's looking to sell their home. They're not getting a referral. They don't know anything about the area. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to the internet, and they're going to begin to search things like good real estate agent, best real estate agent in Tampa. They're going to go to Zillow, they're going to go to Trulia, and then they're going to use the contact form, and they're going to send you a message. That is your first impression. That reply that you give them back is that first impression, and it needs to be a professional, spot-on approach to a business professional. And so first off, the first thing you want to remember is the email address that you're using. It needs to be a professional name. If you're using something like thebestrealtor@gmail.com, it's kind of cheesy for one thing. Secondly, you're using a free service for email, which lacks professionalism. And 3, you're going to lose credibility and lose trust in the eyes of a lot of people. And so make sure that your email address has your name in it. That is the first rule of business. Unless you've got just this great, niche or something that people know that cheesy name with, then name your email, your name at your business. Stay away from providers like Yahoo and Gmail, and especially AOL. People that are still using AOL email addresses kind of get laughed at in the business community. I understand it's still a viable email provider, but AOL is from the early days of the internet, no longer a major provider of services in the internet and the email space. I know they're still out there. I know they're still in business, but that's a whole other talking point right there. Get your email provided by whatever your company is, or if you have your website. So in my situation, I have Jamie at Tampa Bay REO, which is the name of the website that I used to use for foreclosures. It's now Jamie at TampaBayRadio.com. Or Jamie at ThatBusinessNetwork.com, which is under development right now. But regardless, you want to use your email to point them in the direction of your website. I also have Jamie at TampaBayRadio.com, which was the old site. But as I transition now to a new site, I am also on the to-do list to change emails. And you shouldn't look at an email change as anything cumbersome. You can set up forwarding to new email addresses very easily in any email service provider. But the name that you go by in your email address needs to have your name, whether it's first name dot last name, whether it's first name only or first initial last name, something that identifies you, that a consumer knows that they're actually talking to you and directs them to your website and or your company site in the back end of the email. Next thing is the layout of your email. Whenever you reply back to somebody, you should always address them by name. And there's, something I've recently learned is the difference between hi and hello when you reply to people. Hi and is actually looked down upon versus hello. Hello is the formal way of introducing yourself. I oftentimes would say hi so-and-so, but as I study email etiquette, the professionals recommend saying hello. Do not use hi in the reply. It's speaking down to somebody. It's more of a casual conversation for people that are more closely related. But hello to so-and-so. Keep your email replies short and to the point. Most people don't even read emails these days. They skim them. Countless times I'll send somebody an email with a couple of different questions in it. They'll reply back and they'll answer one of the questions, and I got to reply to them again and say, okay, by the way, da-da-da. And so again, they're not reading emails. They're just skimming them. And so keep your replies short and to the point. And so that way, your sale is, your pitch is included in, the response. If you're rambling on about a number of different things, about a number of different topics, they're not going to read that. And I've learned that time and time again, because I'm somebody who's very detail oriented, and I like to just be able to send somebody one big, nice, detailed email about how to do something. And I found it's really a waste of time. And so I now focus more on just shorter emails to the point. And, I still will send them a detailed email, but I know to follow up with a short series of shorter emails that will get the person more engaged and actually get them to respond and get a value from the relationship with yourself. So keep your emails short. Big, long rant emails or big, long emails about, why you're so great, they're not going to get read, and they're just going to take up people's inbox space, and they're going to get deleted. I know when I get some emails from realtors with huge long rants, I read the first lines to see what direction they're going to go, and I just hit delete, and I don't even read them. So again, we don't want huge long emails, short and to the point. Next thing you want to be aware of is your email signature. How many times have we seen people that have no email signature or use some abbreviated signature just like their first name? If you are a professional in business, you should have a full-on real estate, full-on signature that is thorough and is complete. And this is an area that sometimes I even struggle with, especially when I go from computer to computer. This is an area that I need to approve on. But let's talk about what goes into a good signature file. First, you should have some sort of salutation or closing thing in the email signature. That way you don't forget to say it when you're typing the email. Something like thank you or sincerely, comma. You can put that in your email. That way you can always close on something positive. After that, the first thing should be your name, your full name, not just your first name, followed up by your title. Next thing, company name, office address, the office phone, your cell phone address, and your email address. And make sure your email address that's in your email signature matches the email address that you're replying back to, because you don't want to confuse consumers. You don't want people to say, well, why is he using this email and he's got that email in their signature? That stuff, you lose credibility right there. You're losing trust. And for something as simple as that, you could be losing business. So email address needs to match, and really you should be using one email address per your business. I have multiple email addresses, but it's because I have a couple different business entities that I have going on. And so I try to match the email address to my company. But again, one email address that people can get you from at all times. I know there are people out there that will use the info or the admin at whatever website, or they'll have a general inbox. You're losing business when you do that. Number one, you should be responding to your email regularly, or have an assistant that is responding to it. But be sure that they're responding from you, so the consumer believes that they are talking to you and that you are available and reviewing the emails that are going back and forth in the event that you have to get in. Nothing's worse than dealing with somebody through an email, and you're talking to an assistant, and you talk to the realtor and they have no idea what you're talking about. I understand for efficiency and productivity reasons to have an assistant review your inbox, but you should still be skimming through and knowing what's going on. There's no reason you can't keep up with the generalities of what's going on in your email inbox, even if an assistant is reviewing it. Again, other things that you want to include in your email address, the website address, and be very careful with URLs in your email address. Something, if you've got 4 or 5 different URLs, first it's confusing to the consumer. It's also going to get blocked by email servers. I don't even put any URLs in my email anymore. I will use them as links within a message, but an actual URL will get blocked by the server, and I've had that issue with so many emails that it's frustrating. Just, my email signature, www.tampabayreo.com, and I'll be sending out emails, and this just through the years, people aren't getting my emails, and it would be hit and miss too. There'd be periods where they would get through and periods where they're not getting through. And so you could be replying to somebody and they're not even getting your email. And a lot of times it's because of your email signature. So if you're having that issue right now, delete everything out of your email signature and then try to send the email to the person who says they're not getting your email. Guarantee you it'll get through with a blank email signature. And then begin to reassemble your email signature until you can find that piece that is causing the backup or causing the email to be blocked. I guarantee you it's because of one of the URLs. Keep it to one URL, 2 or 3, and then you're starting to test the servers who are going to consider you a spammer. Designations and logos are a way to add credibility to your email signature. Tagline or a product description, that's okay to put that, but make sure it's small and not overly pitchy. Company logo, again, which is related to the designations and logos. And the last thing, and this is an area where I need to improve because I've never done this, but a legal disclaimer, which has to talk about confidentiality between you and who is getting your email address. Lawyers all do this, and a lot of other professionals do this. Anybody in business should have some type of confidentiality disclaimer in their email, so consult your attorney for recommendations on that. So again, currently talking about proper email etiquette, ways you may be losing business and not even know it through email. And when I come back from the break, we'll talk about this some more. Also, we'll talk about texting and how it relates to business today. So you're currently listening to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeagers. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeagers, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Welcome back to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Talking today about email etiquette, how you could be losing business through lack of professionalism, how you could be losing business because you've included too many hyperlinks in your email, how you could be losing business because this is the first impression that you're making with a lot of clients and other business professionals, and by responding poorly really says a lot about somebody. And people abuse email to death. They use the excuse, I'm on the run all the time, I don't have time to respond, and so I just respond from my phone, or I just send a quick message. You don't want to think like that. You want to think that every communication that you send out is a reflection of you as a professional. So whether it's you're on the run and you don't have time, or you sit down during certain points of the day and respond to your emails, you want to always respond professionally. And I run into this issue a lot. I have to coach myself, personally on this. Is that I want to respond quickly to everybody, but maybe now is not the right time to respond. Maybe I'm too rushed. Maybe I need to sit down and think about a reply. Maybe I need to wait until I'm in a calmer mood. So there's different ways to handle it, and productivity experts will tell you to only you look at email during certain times of the day, or bring in an assistant and have them filter out certain emails, and then send the emails that need your attention over to you. Whatever it is that you're comfortable with, still you want to remain professional at all times. Make sure your replies have a greeting, make sure they have a closing, make sure they are indented properly or spaced properly. Stay on topic. That's another thing that is a problem with a lot of email people, or people when they're using email, is they drift off onto topics. Emails are meant to stay on topic per what is in the subject line, and don't change the subject line. Then that makes it difficult to find email chains. And use the reply all feature very sparingly. I think people abuse the carbon copy feature within the email address to include people that don't need to be included, and then you get, how many times have you been brought into a conversation that you don't want to even be involved in? So if that's the situation, politely reply back to them that please remove yourself from the email chain as it doesn't really pertain to you, but do it professionally, of course. But don't abuse the reply off. Somebody sends you a message and copies somebody else on, you don't feel it, or involves that person, simply just reply back to the person. Another thing we see abused a lot of times is when somebody sends out a massive email to hundreds of people, and you can see everybody in the copy line, and then somebody begins to reply back all, and then somebody complains that they shouldn't be using the reply all, and then everybody chimes in, or not everybody, there's like 10% of the people that feel like they've got to chime in. Ignore those messages, don't get involved in those. A lot of times it's a simple mistake that somebody has made when they're trying to advertise something, and they're just now discovering email and how easy it is just to copy and paste a bunch of emails into the carbon copy box and send it out to your entire list of people that, if you're a realtor, you got a new listing, or this new product that you're selling. Just understand that people that do that are usually inexperienced. They're just beginning to find email. Don't reply all, and educate them on how they shouldn't be using the feature, and how you're going to report them for spamming or stuff like that. I hate when I get caught on those chains, because you see some of the nastiest people and some of the nastiest replies from people when people just made a simple mistake and misused email. So just simply ignore that when that happens. Okay, so again, talking about losing business, talking about how to be responsible when you're sending an email. But what about text messaging? All right, this is an area where you're going to get a lot of different opinions on, and I think over time this will start to shake out, professionally speaking at least, into more of a standard. But how often do you get to the text that you can't even understand? Is that a good thing, or is that a bad thing from a professional standpoint? Really, it's a bad thing. You should treat a text the same way that you treat any type of communication or any type of an email. Begin with some type of a greeting. Keep it short, even shorter than an email. Texts are not meant to be long and drawn out by any means. And close with a thank you or some type of closing sentiment, and then a signature. You can add a signature file to a text message, all the same that you can do emails, but very few people have signature files in their text message. But a signature file in a text message should be much shorter because of the size of the screen. You don't want to be taking up the entire message with a text. And also you should consider whether or not even to utilize text in your business. And only you can answer that. People that use text are usually much kind of more quick. They want to respond quicker. They're less worried about professionalism and trackability versus somebody who uses email. Text are, to me, harder to find. You can link them to Outlook, which is kind of nice. There are platforms out there to make producing and sending texts much more centralized, and Outlook is one of them that you can do that depending on who you have as your who is using as your server. But you don't want to abuse text. And so what about when you're driving in a car and you get this text message? This is part of the culture that we feel this need that we have to reply right away. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm not saying that I am perfect in this space. This is an area that I need to improve in as well. You pick up the phone and use the voice to text feature, and it gives you some garbled message. At least it's gotten better in the last several years. Apple is pretty good with theirs. The Android devices do okay. I don't think they do as good as Google. The days of the BlackBerry, though, are completely completely better. The BlackBerry was practically inusable. At least it was for me. Maybe it's my accent. Maybe it's how I talk. I don't know. But regardless, don't text and drive. Don't talk and drive. The phone should be not even used in your phone. Do you realize that more accidents are caused from texting and driving than DUIs? But why are we not as outraged about that as we are when somebody gets behind the wheel and drinks and drive? I don't know. You have to answer that question. But in the coming years, as more and more people are affected, more and more people are injured and killed as a result of texting and driving, I think that you will see texting and driving becoming as severe in terms of penalties as what DUIs are. DUIs before Mothers Against Drunk Driving came out was a slap on the wrist, a go home, given that you didn't hurt anybody. Nowadays, you get arrested for a DUI, you're going to jail for 8 hours, you're going to incur a substantial legal bill, and that's, again, if you don't hurt anybody. That's if you just get pulled over for driving, for whatever reason. If you cause any type of accident, a DUI manslaughter carries in Florida 10 to 15 years, and they don't cut those back oftentimes. People, they have really, because of Mothers Against Drunk Driving and other outreach groups, have really educated the public on the risks and the prevalence of drunk driving. Fridays, Saturdays and nights, 1 in 10 cars are considered to be are legally drunk drivers. That's a scary thing. And then you add on to that the fact that texting and driving is even more risky than drinking and driving. Why do we not have, more severe penalties for people that are abusing this? It's going to take some type of group like Mothers Against Drunk Driving to come out and to get a huge lobbying effort behind them, which is what MAD did, and educate and motivate and collaborate with lawmakers on Capitol Hill. And then we're going to see texting and driving be as just as severe penalties as drinking and driving. And really it should be. You shouldn't be doing it. We need to have some type of devices that somehow disable the phones inside cars. I've thought about that. The challenge with that is that's great, and I'm sure they can probably put some type of device in a car that disables a phone, but then you have your other people in the car. What about the person sitting in the back seat, your passenger and their phones? And what about in the case of an emergency? Well, in case of emergency, you should pull off the road and use your phone first of all. You shouldn't continue driving while you are still involved in a text conversation. Or, you get the argument of, well, I was stopped at a stoplight. Still, anytime you're behind the wheel, your concentration needs to be solely on driving the vehicle, not on the business that is going on in your daily business. So put down the phone, wait to respond to the text until you are stopped and parked in a legal spot, not stopped at a stoplight, or definitely not while you're driving. Keep your text messages, again, professional. Use a signature file and make sure they are grammatically correct, and do not rely on the voice to text function. I get text after text that are garbled messages, and honestly, I don't even like to use text messaging for my business. I direct everything to one central platform. Email, you can call, although I do prefer email. I like everything to come in through one central portal. That way everything is documented, easy to find. You don't have to remember, was that a text message that they sent me? Was that an email? Did we discuss that on the phone? And I know we use all these features to improve efficiency, to be quicker in response, and to appease our clients. But we have to kind of take a look back at what we're doing and who we're becoming. We're becoming robots in essence. And as a consumer too, we have responsibilities not to put these types of pressures on our service providers. Give people time to reply to you. Don't give them a hard time because they didn't reply back to you quick enough. Think about the pressures that you're putting on those people and what they're doing and what it's causing to our community. And the texting and driving issue is a direct result of our culture or need for instant gratification, instant return, instant replies to messages. Give people time to reply. 24 hours is fine, and if that's not quick enough, pick up the phone and call them or set up an appointment with them and go see them in person at their office. Again, give people time, respond professionally in both email and in text, and present yourself as a professional at all times, and keep those links to a minimum. As I said in that last segment, email servers certainly will block emails because of the spammy nature of the links that you are providing. So I hope this has been eye-opening to some people. You are being judged on the emails and on the text that you send. Some people probably say this, I don't care about how the email looks or how the text looks, but a lot of people do, and I'm one of those people. If I see a poorly composed email, a poorly composed text, and it's somebody I don't have a relationship with, then I may not consider using them for a service. So keep your emails, keep your texts, and also your conversations professional at all times. Catch news programs each weekday morning, 9 a.m., thatbusinessnetwork.com, and also on iTunes and on YouTube. If you're a business owner, a professional, entrepreneur, community leader, we'd love to hear your story. To come on the program, go to tbsinterview.com for more information, tbsinterview.com. You've been listening to That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.